78-77.
Yeah, we weren't any good defensively early, and they were on fire. I picked a bad time to be bad defensively when they go 5 or 6 from 3 to start the game. But I think that's what it was. And Hunt got off to a slow start, and we kind of hung in there, and then Hunt made a couple of big threes, and Diggy came in and made a couple of threes, and Zeke made a couple of threes, and we kind of righted the ship, and we should have gone in at halftime down 4 or whatever, and we screwed up the end of the half again and go in down 8. And then we come back and we fight, and Zeke puts us on his back, and we take the lead, briefly a couple of times. I think we went up 2 and went up 1, and then just ran out of gas and couldn't finish the game. But guys did try. Run out of gas was more a reflection of last night's game than it was tonight's game. So certainly that was a tired team playing tonight, but they hung in there and fought.
Missouri. Pierce an open 3 left wing, good, and he got fouled. Trent Pierce knocks down his first attempt of the night. A 3 from the left wing in transition, and Missouri builds a 24-18 lead. Throws it outside, intercepted by Perkins of Missouri. Comes into the front court, bounces to Bates to the rim for the flush, and Missouri takes a 36-34 lead with 41 seconds to play in the first half. 5 seconds to play. Drives left elbow, left wing grill, catch and shoot 3. Made it with 0.2 seconds to play in the half. Tigers execute perfectly on the final possession of the first half. Harris on the right side, taken away by Robinson. A run out, chased by Murphy with Aiden Shaw trailing. Gives it to Aiden for the 2-hand jam. And a foul against Mississippi State. 9 seconds to play. Hubbard's just going to walk it into the front court. Missouri is going to the quarterfinals to take on the Florida Gators tomorrow night at 6 o'clock after an 85-73 victory over Mississippi State.
After Mark Mitchell goes down, what does it kind of say about the depth of the team that y'all were able to step up and keep playing with his absence?
In every interview, every time we've talked, whether we've had somebody injured or not, we always emphasize being 18 strong. So, it wasn't anything new to us because that's just our mentality. That's what we are.
Mainly, we got 18 deep, like Tamar said. So, always be ready to play. You never know. So, everybody's ready tonight. So, that's just what we're about.
I'm extremely proud of Aiden Shaw and his production and what he was able to do in his 12 minutes of play.
It's Friday, then.
Good morning, Kansas City. Come on, voice. We got work to do. Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. As you may have guessed, it's Friday. I wasn't sure. Glad Jake reminded me. It's Friday, March 14th, 2025. Stephen St. John back in studio. Hello. With Jake Gutierrez. I'm still stationed down at the Hilton President Hotel because my duties will continue. Tonight's up in the air literally with the wind. But tomorrow, the championship game, I'll be down there working the stage with, I believe, Belinda Post. So, it ain't over. I know for some people it feels like it's over. It's weird, man, with Iowa State and Kansas losing yesterday. But I gotta, all the Iowa State people that I talk to, we ain't going home. We'll be here. So, Ames, Iowa, enjoy Kansas City.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, because usually they
a lot of great basketball.
Yeah, because usually great games.
Right.
Usually I feel like Iowa State, they stay no matter what. They plan to stay and enjoy this wonderful celebration of basketball. And so hopefully they'll stay, and we'll get some more fans from other cities and other fan bases in here to have some fun. And so, it was a great atmosphere down there at Miller Lite Fan Fest presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB. And when we were going through all the different teams that were playing, we were on stage. I was on stage with Nate. I'm just going to say this. I love Nate. He's one of my best friends. I care about him. Great family. I've never seen anyone in my entire life talk more than he does. It's like it was like watching Phil eat the other night. It's like watching Jordan in his prime. Former producer Aaron Swartz was down there for a while, and I
saw some pictures of Ernie.
We just stopped for a minute and we said, "Watch this."
Yeah.
Every 10 or 15 minutes, let's check in on Nate, and it looks like he is in the most in-depth animated conversation with a different person every time.
It's uncanny, man.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
And it never stops, and it's always someone new, and the person always looks to be like cornered, or like taken aback, and Nate's like, and pointing and just engaged.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for that.
Sure.
Because it's hard for me to engage in a conversation with one person. Because I just and people can make fun of this or whatever else and think, well, you're always doing this public event stuff. How do you have? I have tremendous social anxiety. I get OCD. I got, as Jake can tell you, I got issues. And so there's something wonderful about it. But it's also amazing. And then he gets up there with the mic, and I'm struggling with my voice, right? And his voice just he's got to have the strongest voice in North America.
Well, it's got a lot of working out.
It just don't quit. Yeah.
Strong.
It's strong like bull.
He exercises it a lot.
And so we were up there with Nate. And so, I digress. Up there with Nate, and I'm going, all right. Who's here to see Texas Tech? A decent round, not bad. Who's here to see Baylor? Like 3 people clap, 4 people boo, and then the rest of the people are just standing there like, whoa, okay, all right, Baylor. Who's here to see Arizona? And dude, and this was before this was like in the 5 o'clock hour. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, just more than I expected. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking, boy, there's some Arizona people here. And then, of course, who's here to see Kansas? And it's the loudest, obviously. But then, I'm just going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you what happened. And he ain't going to like it. And if you want to call him and ask him about it, feel free. Okay? Because it wasn't me. It was not me, and I did not do it one time. And I was going to I didn't think about it. I was going to record it, okay? But Nate's on the microphone, and he goes, wow, something, if you're from Arizona, welcome to Kansas City, welcome to the Big 12. And he starts having a conversation with Arizona on the stage, just talking up Kansas City. And then he starts going, and I'm not lying. You're going to think I'm exaggerating. I'm not. If Nate's listening, call in and defend yourself. Nate starts going, U of A, and he starts leading a U of A chant. He's leading it up on the stage, and and all the U of A and the Arizona. Yeah.
How are
crazy.
Kansas fans taking this?
I don't know.
What the hell?
But
I
you
mean,
know, hey,
we all have. He had
we're
a job
up there
to do.
representing
Right.
Miller Lite Fan Fest, the Sports Radio 810
Yeah.
WHB, the Big 12. But you
I
know,
don't think
you would think.
I don't think there's a requirement to
Well,
lead
like
a
I ain't got a
chant.
dog in the fight. Maybe I'm the guy, but he never even came up. He just, you know, we got the main MC Jaime down there. Maybe he should do the U of A.
Sure.
Maybe DJ Laser,
Or maybe no
who
one.
formerly coached Richie St. John at St. Pius High School in football. Maybe he should do it. But Nate never gave him one a chance. All of a sudden, I'll be honest with you, I really didn't even know that was the chant, you know. But all of a sudden, Nate from nowhere, no one told him, he's just going, U of A.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nate Buchanan.
And the whole crowd's going, U of, you know, the Arizona crowd.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, damn it, why didn't I grab my phone?
Yeah, you missed it.
But, no, I didn't miss it. I got an eyeful.
Well, I missed it.
What do you think? What do you say to it?
Oh,
I think you should call him.
I'm not gonna call him
Why?
because
Not now. Sometime during the show.
okay.
And just say, Steven has been known to exaggerate things.
Right.
And I want you to say, I don't believe it because there's no audio.
Well, I kind of do believe it.
But say that's what I want you to do. And say, I don't believe you would actually do this.
Why would he do that?
Did you do this?
The hell, Nate.
That's what I want you to say. Did you do this?
I mean, I imagine Kansas. I mean, there are a lot of Kansas fans down there. I mean, I assume
Look,
they didn't take it very well.
I don't know how they took it. I know how I took it. I thought it was awesome. Because like the Arizona crowd was going crazy. I'm like, look at this guy.
Yeah, I mean, they had you.
Look at Nate. Nate's getting everyone. Nate fired Arizona up.
Way to go, Nate.
Well, Arizona wins 88-77 over Kansas.
Meh. Back and forth game for a while.
It was an entertaining game.
Most of the second half.
Zeke Mayo got hot. I said, oh, Kansas is going to win.
Yeah, I know. I love seeing that.
He's on fire. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, Bill Self said it.
Yep.
It did seem like they hit a wall or ran out of gas. And there's something to that. And that was Arizona's first game.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, man. Also give credit to Arizona. It's a good basketball team.
Yeah.
And they shot out of their mind from 3-point land in the first half. And even Tommy Lloyd's like, hey, we not that good shooting the ball, so I don't know what happened, but we'll take it. He was. Did you see that at halftime?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And everybody's like,
walking off. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I can't explain it. Well, hey, we'll take it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not us.
Well, it is you.
Yeah.
Last night it was.
But he was even. I mean, even he was like, you know. But dude, if I'd have told you Kansas was going to hit 14 3-pointers and shoot 45% from three, you'd have felt good.
It was one of the things Gurley talked about. They really needed some outside shooting. They needed guys to hit threes, and they did. It's just they couldn't defend, and they were all over the glass too. I mean, they had a boatload of offensive rebounds. I mean,
that damn big kid off the bench for Arizona.
Yeah,
Was it
their interior defense
Visar?
was
Was that how'd you say
rough
his
last
name?
night.
Honoree.
The skinny kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was honorary.
Honore.
19 points off the bench.
Yeah, I mean that's where they
He had a
killed
couple
us.
of. He had a couple of. That one move he had on Hunter Dickinson.
Yeah.
The and one.
Yeah, that was.
Well, there's a couple of them.
I was gonna say,
his footwork was tremendous, and they talked about how much muscle he's put on or how much weight.
20
he's put on.
pounds or whatever. Yeah.
But I mean, look, I don't know. I can't tell you how to feel. I sure as hell can't tell Nate how to feel. I don't know how Nate feels. Because Nate goes from there, and then I see on TV, then he's sitting courtside. So.
Right. Saw that too.
Yeah.
They outscored Kansas points in the paint 46-20.
Arizona wins 88-77. So now what's your guess? What seed in the NCAA tournament is Kansas now?
I'll say they're a 7 seed.
All right. Lock that in. Jake says
7.
7. Well, here's what I did. I was working the stage right after the show. I got there about 11 and went on stage and did and people were down there. They saw it. We did some fun contests, did the limbo contest, did Papa Shot, did all kinds of cool stuff, gave away some great stuff, some swag from Miller Lite and Coors Light. It was awesome. And the weather was, in the high 70s. You just couldn't have asked for a better day as far as weather and atmosphere. And a great time yesterday at Miller Lite Fan Fest. And, I was down there until about 6. Nate got there. I was probably there an hour and a half before Nate was on stage. And so I thought that would work out well because then now, Nate could take over when I left to go watch the Missouri game. By the way, in seclusion. I had three or four people invite me to watch the game with them at an establishment in the area. And I just said, look, I'm not being a dick. I don't want to. It's not you, it's me.
No.
Can I say what I just said?
No.
Was that bad?
No, it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
It's what I just called myself.
That's not.
I said, it's not you, it is me.
Sure.
Because I'd like, you're a fellow Mizzou fan.
Like how you asked me if you can say that after you said it.
Can I?
Yeah, sure.
So I might say it again. It's not you, it's me. But I don't want to watch the Mizzou game with anyone.
But you've learned your learned your lesson.
I don't,
You've tried it
because I need this win.
You've tried it.
I don't want them to go into the NCAA tournament on a 4-game losing streak, and I want to go back. So
you wash your hands of that losing streak.
Grab my food, go back to the Hilton President Hotel, go up to my room, get SEC Network on, get in my chair, and let me tell you something, locked in. Absolutely locked in, no distractions. And thankfully, they played well. Now, the win is a big, I think that was super important win for them to get some type of momentum and some good feeling and to erase that losing streak and to have a good bounce back, against an NCAA tournament team, a fellow NCAA tournament team. So it wasn't, picking up some win against the 14th seed wasn't beating LSU or whatever. They go in there and beat a team that'll be in the bracket. And that's a big deal. But the biggest deal out of the game is Mark Mitchell's knee. And it seems like it's going to be okay. I know that at one point, and he doesn't, they didn't even really know when he got hurt in the first half. And Dennis Gates after the game said he didn't even really know. And he's locked in, and he's the kind of, he goes to his bench, and he says he trusts his trainers, and he trusts his assistant coaches, and he's looking to see who's available, and doesn't really have time to assess what's wrong with Mark Mitchell. He just knows who's available and who's not, and he's locked in. Whether that's totally true or not, but I get that. You got to get through the game. You got to win a game. But I know at one point Mark Mitchell was on the exercise bike after he was hurt. I mean, that's a good sign. It's not like, he was rushed off to take an MRI. But again, I don't know. I don't know. We've seen in the past knee injuries can be funky. It looks bad and you think it's terrible and it turns out to be nothing. Or you think it's nothing and it turns out to be worse than you think. And so I'm not going to sit here and speculate. I'm just going to tell you that fingers crossed. And look, they have a big game tonight against Florida. And that'll be a huge win. They already won at Florida. But I'll stay consistent. This tournament is not as important as the next tournament. And if Dennis Gates decides just to, for precautionary measures, say, you know what, Mark, you had a little scare last night. We want to win. We love you. But we're gonna sit you down here and get you ready for the big dance. I'm going to be okay with it. I won't complain about that. Is that right or wrong, Jake, in your opinion?
Oh, I think that's a good approach. I mean, maybe even just let him get out there, see how it feels.
Or if they play him, that's fine, but I'm not going to complain either way.
I wouldn't put him under a lot of stress. That's what I would take it nice and easy. Maybe get him out there, let him see how it feels.
I should take it nice and easy tonight.
You should. You should.
I was very stressed last night.
I mean, the first game was big. You get the losing streak out of the way. You get a win underneath your belt. Gets a little momentum. I mean, Florida's playing as good as anybody right now in the nation. So, I mean, it's going to be a.
But you know you can beat them.
Right, absolutely.
You know because you did it.
But also, this game is perils in comparison to what you have ahead of you.
Right.
I mean, that it's.
It'd be nice, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any question whatsoever, then you rest him and you sit him down and say, hey, we got to get you ready for next week. So.
And so, Drew King, who covers the basketball team for PowerMizzou.com, said that he asked about the knee injury and nobody was really offering up any information. Right? So and people, after I retweeted and Googled it last night, people are tweeting me like, hey, so update, what do you got? Like, I don't got nothing. I mean, they're not, no one's saying anything. And I was up a little bit late, like, okay, let's see if they're going to give an update. I didn't think they would, but I was hoping for one. And I don't know, is that good? I mean, no news, good news?
College basketball, it's hard to find anything about injuries.
Right.
I mean, they're pretty tight-lipped about that stuff.
Well, allow me to overanalyze everything, though.
No news is good news. And, if there was a bad MRI or, those results were back and they weren't good, you would probably know about it.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This is what Drew King said. Nobody can seem to pinpoint when exactly Mark got hurt, besides that it was sometime in the first half. And he asked Dennis Gates, and Gates' quote was, I don't even know what happened, to be honest with you. And I'm saying that honestly. I just take and adhere to what our doctors and trainers say, and I don't question those individuals at all. And Mark knows what he can or cannot do. He didn't want to put our team at a disadvantage if he's not at 100%. So at the end of the day, he trusted our substitutions and our depth, and he just didn't put himself back in the game. So for me, that's a sign of great leadership, and we'll see what the prognosis is. And Gates said, I don't have an update. I'd love to give you guys answers because you deserve it, no question. I just don't have any. And then Drew King asked Mark Mitchell to describe how he got hurt, and he said, I just jumped up, and I just kind of stopped real fast, kind of hard. I mean, I still ran down after, so I don't think it's nothing too serious. And I'm just a little sore. You've hurt your knee 14 or 15 times. I mean, that's, it sounds like it might have freaked him out, or might have scared him, might have thought he did something.
Right.
And like, I don't know. And
just
then you don't.
Abnormal movement, abnormal feeling in there. I mean,
I just jumped up and I just kind of stopped real fast, kind of hard. But I still ran down after, so I don't think it's nothing too serious, just a little sore.
And I've had 4 knee surgeries done on my knees, and 2 on each side. And every time I did it, I knew something was not right. I knew it pretty immediately.
And maybe something just happened. He felt something, and then later on he was all right. But by that time, like, hey, we're gonna.
The second time I had my meniscus worked on, I did it, and it didn't feel right, and I played through it. I played 3 more games, and then at the end of the season, I had it cleaned up. So, I mean,
it's all speculation. We don't know. I just gave you the quotes and words from Dennis Gates and Mark Mitchell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll find out more today.
But let me tell you, without Mark Mitchell, they came through, and they came through because of Tamar Bates. Because Tamar Bates said, okay, I got to be the guy. I got to be a dog. And he was awesome. And Tony Perkins, a veteran point guard they got from Iowa, he was freaking awesome. And finally, before we break, our guy, Aiden Shaw, who sat in that chair right here. And let me tell you, I always talk about players or guys that are super easy to root for. That is one of the nicest kids I've ever interviewed. He represents Kansas City the right way. You want him to succeed. You want him to do well. And in an important spot, he came off the bench. And remember, Gray was in the locker room too because he was cramping up. And so Aiden Shaw had to come in, and he played with energy. He had a big dunk. He had a big block. He had some important rebounds. He played defense. He was in his. I think he played 12 minutes. Aiden Shaw deserves a game ball too. Tamar Bates, Tony Perkins, Aiden Shaw, that was freaking awesome that Aiden Shaw came off the bench and played those, got 4 rebounds, 3 points. They needed it. They needed him. Great job, Aiden Shaw. Let's go, Jake. You love that kid. He was in here. What a great kid to have in here and talk to. Nice young man. And you know what? People wonder why he hasn't played more minutes, whatever. That's college sports. You know that. That's college basketball. You never know when your time's going to come. Who knew Mark Mitchell was going to get hurt? And when he did, Aiden Shaw stepped up. And I don't think they win that game without him.
And that's kind of what they've been talking about all year. That team's connected. 18 strong. They keep saying, they said that twice on the press conferences.
That's what you always say about the show.
18, too strong. That's right.
We're too strong. That was the name of the show for a while, and then it got vetoed. But I was going to be happy no matter what if Mizzou won that game. But because Aiden Shaw was part of it and Tamar Bates made me even happier. I was thrilled. Love it. KC, let's go. We'll take a break. Back after this on WHP. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's Friday, March 14th, 2025. Stephen St. John, Jake Gutierrez is wearing a smart-looking Royals hoodie. He's ready for opening day.
Yep.
This guy's ready for opening day, aren't you?
It's going to be here, March 27th.
But I said you're ready, are you? Or
Yeah.
Did I misspeak?
I'm getting ready.
Okay, well, he's getting ready for opening day.
I need
Maybe
to get tickets.
Well, that's... You know what?
Last part of getting ready.
Listen. Trust me, will you?
I do.
Just plan on coming out there. There's tailgating and there's fun to be had. And I bet you somehow, some way you end up in that stadium.
Good chance.
All right? I'll put some feelers out.
We're going to do another New Day at the K-Stand.
Oh, boy.
Awesome.
We're going to focus on cooler
it's not
weather.
March 27th, though, is it?
No.
We're earlier date. We're looking for cooler weather.
Like May.
That'll be
we're
the
talking about.
easiest thing ever to accomplish compared to last year.
Oh, yeah. It was...
Did Jeff Penner officially say that was the hottest day of the year that we were out there?
I don't care if he
bet
says
it's
it or
top
not.
5.
I will say it. I will tell you it was.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
But it was hot.
It was a great time because they beat the Yankees, but it was unbelievably hot. But we're looking at May. We're looking at May.
I thought it was May.
I think we're looking in May.
The Rockies game on a Thursday in May.
So that's what we're targeting tentatively. And so
That's great. And the Royals did beat the Yankees.
yeah, that was
There's only
great.
a few of us there who stayed through the heat to
Me,
see it.
you, Scott Carroll, Matt Derrick. Who am I missing, Jake? Who stayed to the end? I know Scott
We were
Carroll,
missing
Matt
Jake.
Derrick. Yeah, well,
I left after the home run
Jake got mad.
in the
left.
8th.
Jake got mad. Jake
You made it to the
yeah.
8th, though. That's better than a lot of people.
No, yeah, my nephew was melting, so
Yes.
That's
Very
that is
nice
a
of you to
concern.
bring him, and very nice of you to take him home.
You know, I give you crap for leaving, but I will tell you, when a child is melting, that is a valid concern.
yeah,
That's a valid reason.
he got his Bobby Witt Jr. jersey, and
Dude, can I get enough of players almost getting hurt?
Yeah.
And hopefully we're like Bobby Witt Jr. the other day when Lebo just, he's parading around with his phone. Look, and showing me at the time it said Bobby Witt Jr. hitting the hand. And it was almost like Lebo's taunting me with it. I go, what are you doing? I said, put your phone away. I said, we're here. We were working. I go, we're doing something. I don't have time to focus on this right now. Put that away until there's more information. And then later on, of course, we found out it was forearm. It was all right. And so that was a scare, though. Because until I found out, and I hate to say this about one player, I'm like, oh, season could be over. This is going to be horrible. And several baseball guys tweeted out, there's no one player that's more valuable to his specific team than Bobby Witt Jr. And I agree. I mean, we talk about, do they have enough offense? Imagine if he wasn't in the lineup.
And he plays shortstop.
And defensively, and just everything, right? And so, knock on wood, he's okay. So hopefully Mark Mitchell be okay.
It brings up an interesting question because I don't hear them talk about it in spring training baseball. Like in the NFL, the players refuse to play now. I mean, the coaches won't let them. They just sit on the side. Only Andy Reid plays his players a little bit, but they just say, we're not going to get hurt in preseason. Don't hear that in spring training.
No. I said, like,
It's
especially
interesting.
pitchers got to ramp up and everything else, and I feel like hitters got to get their timing down, and it's
Well, I feel like football players need to hit and
Yeah.
get their timing down. Week 1 looks like a joke in the NFL because the guys are out there on a hot noontime kick, and they hadn't played at all in a game,
look,
and
that's
it's
what the
so
Chiefs,
scary.
Yeah, that's what the Chiefs have over so many teams because
They're playing on Thursday night, and
because of the kind of camp that Andy runs.
exactly.
And he gets he actually gets stuff done. He's got it down to a science, and that's why usually the Chiefs come out firing out out of the gates. And so that's
a lot more muscle memory stuff in baseball.
Mark Mitchell's okay. I'm sorry.
I thought about you last night. I go, is Steven rooting for Mizzou or against Mizzou right now? I couldn't decide.
Why would you say
It was up
that?
in the air. Well, no, because you want to move on to the next tournament and make sure guys like Mark Mitchell don't get hurt.
They had to get
that
a
was
win.
the number one goal.
They
So
had to get a, they
you
had to
needed
get
a
a
win.
win. They
Okay.
needed to end that.
Thank goodness they're playing
right.
Mississippi State. I don't know if I've seen a more undisciplined team all year.
Mississippi State.
They do some dumb stuff.
Well, I could tell you that if Josh Hubbard would have flopped one more time, I was going to do something. But there was a point where he got hot. I'm like, oh no. But then he cooled down. But look, there was a point in that game where they were down, and then out of nowhere, just out of nowhere, so somebody texted me and said, "Why the hell isn't Gates playing Mark Mitchell?" I'm like, I don't know, because there's never a point where you saw him get hurt and everything. So like, you don't know. And so then someone else asked me, "Where's Mark Mitchell?" Like, I don't know. And I'm thinking maybe we're just not seeing because before the game he cut his hair. And so like, where is he? I'm looking, and so then out of nowhere, their sideline reporter, he has this update from the Mizzou bench. Mark Mitchell knee injury will not return. I'm like, what did she say? Like, when did that happen? When in the hell did that happen? And at the time, Mississippi State was kind of going. And so all of a sudden, they were losing the game, and then Mark Mitchell
4-game losing
back.
streak and Mark Mitchell out.
And I sat there and I said, I'm so glad I did not go watch this with people. I'm going to sit here and sulk. But then they turned it on, and that's one of the things we love about college sports, right? And again, the man was Tamar Bates. And Tamar Bates had been going through a mini slump, but he became the alpha dog last night, ended up with 25 points, was 8 of 12 from the floor in his 33 minutes. He was awesome. Tony Perkins, the veteran point guard they got from Iowa, a couple of times he went one-on-one, and just by sheer man strength, took it to the rim and hit some big buckets. And most importantly, he went 8 of 8 from the free throw line. He ended up with 20 points. And those are the headliners. But Aiden Shaw coming off the bench, and he just, sometimes he doesn't play, sometimes he only plays a couple of minutes, but he's maintained a great attitude. He's used some of his NIL money for scholarships for kids. We had him in studio with his mom. What a nice kid, Kansas City kid. You want him to succeed. And didn't he win the Dorena Award for the best player in the area? And it just he doesn't play that often, and that's a kid that could leave and go someplace else to where you get more minutes, but he stayed. And you never know, right, in college sports. You never know when your time's going to come. And here it is in the SEC tournament. Mitchell's hurt. Josh Gray, the center, is in the locker room getting fluids because he's cramping. Aiden Shaw, step on up. And the numbers don't pop up huge, but 3 points, 4 rebounds, and a block in 12 minutes. But I will suggest to you that those were gigantic 12-minute run for him. And for him to go out there because they desperately needed him, and he came through, and I was just so happy for him. That was great. That was awesome. And he's a Kansas City kid, But that's what's great about college sports. You never know when your time's come, and to see a kid come up there in a big game and come through, that was awesome, right?
It was impressive. It was a battle back and forth, mostly Missouri ahead, but still enough behind to scare you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the physicality, whoa. I mean, I have no idea what a foul is.
Oh, you're going to get me going. I'm not. Did you see when Josh Hubbard is driving to the basket and he's got Jacob Cruz's arm, he's got it clamped, and he's holding on to him, and Cruz is just like being dragged, and that's a flagrant in the rule book, and so they call it on Cruz, and so they go and review it, and they show, and even the broadcast crew is like, well, that's clearly on Hubbard. That's going to be a flagrant. That look at him. Cruz has he has no choice. And the SEC official goes back, yeah, foul confirmed, Cruz. What the hell was that? Did you see that?
Oh, I did see that.
I mean,
they usually call that only on rebounds, but that was in action. The thing that was crazy is they called a foul, so it was after action, but he was driving and holding onto the Missouri player's arm,
right,
hooked him underneath, chicken winged him, and started carrying it. It was crazy.
But how do they review that and look at that and say, no, it's fine, it's good?
Ask Jake. Hunter Dickinson nailed a guy right in the face, and they just said no big deal in the KU game.
Answer him, Jake.
No big deal.
We'll just sit there.
There you go.
I didn't think it was a foul.
I didn't think you would. But Fran Priscilla, did you see anybody spin faster than he did? Oh, that's a flagrant one. that elbow to the face. They're going to call that.
You know
and then Doug Sermons said no. He goes, oh, I trust Doug Sermons completely.
I
don't think you want to bring Fran Fraschilla up to Jake right now.
I don't think Fran's had that good of a tournament.
Jake had an airing of grievances last night in a text message thread about Fran Fraschilla.
Okay.
You can say what you want. I'm just going to tell you, you weren't happy.
No. I was just talking about that one was controversial, and it spun really quick. Like, hey, that's a flagrant one. Oh, I have no problem with that call.
And that was the moment I sent that text to the guys.
Jake has been disgruntled the last couple of nights. Jake was
a little feisty.
Jake was wanting to go to bed, and he said this game better not go to overtime. So of course
he got stuck in that when our team's at 8:30 to 8:45 start.
It's like it's brutal
every night,
and then I would just wake up grumpy
every
I didn't
night
love it either because I couldn't go to bed.
No,
because in that overtime game like this, we
that
got
was
talking
great.
about this,
Yep.
and he and right before KJ Adams stepped out of bounds, he takes us. If this thing goes overtime, I'm
gonna be
and
pissed.
like the minute he does that overtime, that's oh boy. Well, this guy's gonna be hot to handle tomorrow. And at least they won, but then he was.
Well, at least they won. Can you imagine the difference?
Oh yeah, and then
there's no sleep.
And then last night I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm gonna leave it alone. But then he's
now he's announcing, talking about the announcers.
Oh yeah, he was complaining about the broadcast crew, and just a little bit of everything. So
it's not CBS. That's his station.
Yeah. Right there, you go.
Right.
It's not the NCAA tournament yet.
Do you want to mention what your gripe was?
No, we'll move on.
I don't like moving on when you're the focal point. Sometimes you need it. You need the spotlight.
He was so adamant, and then he just pivot instead of sticking with. Hey, if you feel that way, then you stay with it. If you are you convicted about being wrong, then stay convicted.
The SEC broadcast crew after they like I'm surprised by that. I think they got that wrong. Like, okay, you're right.
Yeah, I thought Fran would at least say, well,
Here's
I
why
can see where it's a
that.
basketball play, but boy, I sure thought that would be a flagrant because anytime you get an elbow to the face, usually it's called. They lean that direction. All the reasons why he spoke about it before the announcement came out, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I'm totally good with it." Doug Sermons, I trust.
Ask Fran Fraschilla about it.
I trust Doug Sermons.
Jake wanted to ask Fran Fraschilla about it last night. What would you have asked him, Jake?
Ask him why you felt that way, and then why'd you change your mind so quick?
Does no matter anything that happened
he wants
over
to
the
respect the officials. Those are hard interpretations.
You can still respect them and disagree with them.
No matter what happened over the last few days to make me mad, I knew somewhere Jake was angrier. So that made me feel good. So like I'm not the angriest guy right now. That's exactly right.
There's somebody out there more angry than I am.
There was a point, if anyone would have texted me during that Mizzou game, they would have received a very terse response because I didn't, And so then at one point, someone said, I see Mark Mitchell on the exercise bike. Like, oh, well, okay, he's got to be all right then. But he never came back in the game, and they won the game, so it's all good.
Hey, did you get a chance to be a part of or see the BYU Iowa State game?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That was incredible in the arena.
Even if
that was incredible.
Whatever team you root for, if you're just a basketball fan, just watch it. You know who you saw? Big Red was there in his BYU gear.
He was.
Yeah, let me show you a picture. He was looking good too.
I did not see him.
Why does that? Why does that make me so happy?
Last year at the tournament was the first time I ever met him.
How was he? Was he?
Well, he was friendly, but it's not really. We didn't really want to bother him. He was sitting in the first row, and he turned around, and a few people said hello, and I was right there, so I said hello. Oh, there's the commissioner. Yes,
like that. I like the fact that Andy always wears a very nice cheese pullover, 3/4 zip,
yeah.
and I like to wear those. He's very comfortable, and he's wearing the same, but it's BYU.
Yes,
he's locked in. Look at that, Jake. Don't you like that? Like that made me happy.
He was. He must have been sitting at the other end because I was right behind the people in the first row, and Andy wasn't there. But there was some other guy from BYU who had a little ponytail and back, and he must have been a star basketball player at some time because the officials even came over and talked to him, and his daughter was there.
Courtside?
Yes.
Taysom Hill was at courtside. I don't know if you saw him.
I did not see him. I mean, I was not trying to find these people. I was just right behind this guy, and he was standing up and yelling, but in a nice way, not negative at all. And his daughter must be a really good volleyball player. She looked like she must be 10, 12 years old because the officials were over there talking to her about
There's Chase Hill sitting courtside. I don't know why I like that. He rolled into town. He's there. You know.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I was watching a basketball game and not taking into account, and Todd Lebo always says first world problems. It's first world problems when I'm walking around behind the scenes and see all kinds of people that you know how it is. You just run into people and you don't want to bother them, and at some point you don't think about how big a deal it is that so and so just walked by.
You know what BYU looks like to me? BYU looks like a team that I'm going to pick on my bracket to go to the Final Four, and they're going to lose in the first round and destroy my bracket because I'm absolutely buying all in on BYU right now.
Oh, I was asked about this,
and I'm going to get the old.
Wyatt and I do a podcast every week for Learfield, who owns the rights at K-State, and so we do a podcast, and he's saying, okay, what are your thoughts about the NCAA tournament and the Big 12 teams? And I said, I love the way BYU plays, but they're much better as an underdog.
Yeah.
You put them as a favorite, and I think things could get shaky real quick.
Yeah. Yeah,
not exactly like your bracket, but close to it is what I'm thinking.
No, because
I love the way they play, and they're going to go. They're going to be talked about. Man, they're on a 9-game winning streak, and what happens if they shoot the lights out and beat Houston? Because Houston may not care about being here. Last year, remember when they lost in the finals against Iowa State by double digits? It just looked like, we're ready to move on to the NCAA tournament. And yesterday against Colorado, they kind of slept walk through the game. If they do that and lose to BYU and say we're out of here like Roy Williams used to, like we want to be out of here by the semifinals, we don't want to wear out, what happens if BYU wins again and wins 10 and then maybe wins 11 and wins the tournament? Everybody's going to be talking about them. That's scary to me. They play the role of the underdog well.
I mean, look.
They have 11 guys. They have 11-man rotation that they trust. It is amazing. One of them's injured right now, but seriously, down the stretch, when they were doing this winning streak, they started playing 11 guys. And Kevin Young, I didn't know who Kevin Young was at the start of the year because he was an NBA assistant. I don't know where they picked an NBA assistant to be the coach, but, boy, he is doing a great job at BYU.
And they have the number 1 recruit in the nation coming in next year.
That's what I heard.
But
the money is flowing over there.
The NIL money at BYU is unbelievable.
You realize how big their stadium is? You know, Allen Fieldhouse is big and has a giant reputation, but BYU's arena is giant as well, and they pack them in.
And all I know is, I mean, look, and I said because I asked everyone, the last couple of days, you can't pick Houston. What team would you pick to win the Big 12 tournament? And I picked BYU just because they've looked good, and I like the way they play, and they're motivated because they can really get something out of this tournament. I wonder what seed they could get. But anyway, how long has it been since they've lost? They've lost like 8.
Nine straight, I think.
9 straight? Good God. But then you find out, and we'll play the clip later, Richie Saunders' great-grandfather invented tater tots.
The tater tot.
They said that on the broadcast.
How about
I
that?
love tater tots.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You're going to tell me this team's already fun to watch, that this kid's great-grandfather invented tater tots?
One of my friends that I know now owns a restaurant, a very known restaurant, okay? And he charges extra for tater tots. So I hope he's listening because I go, how could you? Come on.
Yeah, it's good business.
Tater tots are delicious.
It's good business.
And this
I
kid's
still
family,
love those tater tots.
Yeah,
Right.
you can order them still.
If this kid's family is responsible for tater tots, then yes,
You gotta root for him.
I'm picking BYU.
And how about the old school
all the
jump
way.
shot? Do you see how high he jumps when he shoots his three-pointer?
I love it.
That's old
High
school.
release. Yeah.
A lot of guys are shooting set shots now, and he's flying in the air, way off the ground.
Well, BYU's back at it tonight. The ice cream shops are going to be hopping and popping. Let's go, BYU.
Cougars versus Cougars.
Oh yeah, that was happening at P&L the last couple of days out there. I saw a couple of those matchups. Let me tell you.
Were you guys pointing them out?
No.
You're supposed to keep things lively up on stage.
They were pointing themselves out. We'll take a break. Back into this on WHB.